Hey, what's going on everybody? This is Dom, and today I want to do a performance comparison between the Nexus 7 and the iPad mini. Now obviously this is going to be a bit unfair, seeing as the Nexus 7 was just released and Apple hasn't updated the iPad mini in almost a year. But these are both the current miniature tablets from Google and Apple, so I wanted to give them an unbiased performance comparison, and maybe this will help you make up your mind if you're looking to purchase either one of these. Now obviously this test isn't going to be super scientific, but I believe these tests will give you a good idea on the performance between the Nexus 7 and the iPad mini. So let's start out with a simple boot test. Both of these devices are currently off, and we are going to power them on and see which one is booted up and ready to go the quickest. So here we go. There are the logos on the screen, and like I said, these tests aren't going to be super scientific or anything. They're just meant to give you a good idea on the performance between the Nexus 7 and the iPad mini. So here we are, we're coming around the home stretch, I believe, and here we go. We are all booted up on the Nexus 7, still waiting around for the iPad mini to get there. We are already on the home screen of the Nexus 7. And here comes the iPad mini in second place, and it is finally ready to go. So obviously the Nexus 7 has the quicker boot time. Maybe that matters to you, maybe it doesn't, but now you know which one does for sure. So next we're going to test Geekbench, and as you can see, there are no apps running on either device except for the Geekbench app, and we are going to hit run benchmarks on both of these guys at the same time, and then we'll get an idea on which one will win in this department. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit for you, but before it's over, does anybody want to make any wagers here on which one's going to win? So here we go with the Nexus 7. We have 2698. That's a pretty big number. Try to keep in mind that the Nexus 7 does have a 1.5 gigahertz quad-core processor, and the iPad mini only has a 1 gigahertz dual-core processor, so that will definitely affect the outcome of this Geekbench test. But here we go with the iPad mini. It's almost done, and as you can see here, we have a measly 759. Pretty sad, I mean, honestly. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that apps are going to run better or worse on either tablet. It really depends on how optimized that specific app is or what technology that app is leveraging to work on either of those devices. So keep that in mind. This may be a bit unfair to the iPad mini, but I have a feeling that even when Apple does update the iPad mini here, it still may not have better processing power than the Nexus 7 based on Apple's incremental update history. So now we're going to take a look at gaming. I've installed Riptide GP2 on both the Nexus 7 here and the iPad mini, and as you can see, the graphics look pretty amazing here on the Nexus 7. It definitely performs flawlessly when it comes to these intense 3D games, and you even see cool things like this little water splashing on the glass. It looks like it's actual water and you're riding right behind the little jet ski here. It looks pretty cool though. I definitely enjoy the gaming performance on the Nexus 7. Some of these details you just don't see on the iPad mini, and I'll show you that in a second, but that's just basically due to the GPU performance of the device. So let's go ahead and check that out. Here's the same game on the iPad mini, and I don't know if you can notice it, but when I was playing it, definitely right off the bat, there is a difference in the quality here. Now overall the game looks alright, but you're missing things like smooth edges, you're missing that water splashing up on the screen. Some things are a little blockier in comparison to the Nexus 7, but overall the gameplay is very smooth, it runs just fine. There aren't any differences in actually playing it, but once you've been playing it up close like I have, there's definitely a notable difference in graphic performance between the two devices. Of course, the Nexus 7 does have a better GPU, so that's going to make the difference in everything. But why don't you be the judge? Let me know which device you prefer from a gaming perspective. The next and final thing I want to show you is scrolling performance. Now, you may not think this is a big deal, but this is something that bothers me about Android. The scrolling inside of a web browser just seems a little jittery, a little more jittery than iOS in my opinion. That was just one thing. I just don't know why something simple as this can't be just a little bit better. I mean, scrolling throughout the operating system just seems a little more jittery than iOS, and I'll show you that here right now. As you can see, we have the same thing pulled up on Google, and it just seems more fluid than it does on the Nexus 7. Because of the fluid scrolling here and the screen size, I prefer browsing the web on the iPad mini over the Nexus 7. But let me know what you guys think about that down in the comments below. So I hope you enjoyed this performance comparison between the 2013 Nexus 7 and the iPad mini. It's not necessarily scientific or even fair because Apple hasn't updated the iPad mini since last year, but I definitely wanted to give you guys a look in case you're in the market to purchase a small tablet like one of these. Hopefully this can help you clear up any performance questions that you may have. These are the current miniature tablet offerings from Google and Apple, and I wanted to give you guys a rundown of the two. So go ahead and let me know what you think down in the comments below, and leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Thanks again for watching, everybody. This is Dom, and have a great day.